Can you save the narcissist? A better question would be, why do you want to save the narcissist? When we get into these relationships with toxic people, with people who we deem to be a narcissist, we tend to get into this victim mentality. We tend to want to fix them, and it's almost a form of projection. We are using that person to regulate our own emotions. And when we use something as chaotic as another disordered person to regulate our own emotions, our lives crumble and become, we destroy our own lives by wanting to save a person who might not even want to be saved. And on top of not wanting to be saved, it's possible that they can't be saved. Some people are too far gone to be saved. But in saying that, I think a lot of people on YouTube are saying every narcissist is a lost cause, that it's not possible to help them. And I understand why they say this. I understand that I think narcissists, it's possible for anyone to heal, but I am very optimistic, almost to a fault. The problem with a narcissist is a lot of the times, especially if they're unaware of their disorder, they believe that there's nothing wrong with them, which just in that, it shows how disordered this person is, because there's very obviously something wrong with the way they act and think, but it's the grandiosity. It's they are compensating because of all of the horrific traumatic things they likely went through because of their disorder. They have this very high sense of grandiosity, and they use that to compensate, and that doesn't allow them to see reality for what it is. They could be the most terrible, lying, deceitful, just person that isn't really worth much on. Everyone is worthy of love. I'm not saying the narcissist is not worthy of respect, but in terms of being a good person, of having value, of just being normal, a narcissist isn't any of those things if they are truly a narcissist. But because of their disorder, they have to compensate. And that is why it's very hard to. It's not that they're broken. I mean, it would be easier if the narcissist had some kind of like depression where you could give them some kind of antidepressant, it being some kind of chemical imbalance. And that's a whole other thing. There's a lot of argument about how depression isn't a chemical imbalance, how it's kind of just like, and that kind of ties in with the narcissist. It's saying how some people think that depression is just it's like a cognitive distortion where, and that happens a lot, right? How many people do you see that are depressed and they have some kind of like religious moment or like an epiphany, or they have some kind of experience that snaps them out of it? Is that because like that moment, just chemicals in your brain don't work that fast? It's sometimes it's just our way of viewing the world, just like the narcissist. They view the world from a very distorted lens, and that is why they are a narcissist. If we could get them to accept and work on themselves, but it's hard, again, that goes into the disorder. A lot of times narcissists don't accomplish much in their life because they're not willing to accept that they are bad at something, right? They have this idea that they just deserve everything for no reason, just because they're the best person in the world somehow, even though they've never done anything, and on the contrary, they've done bad things. So their word, it's like, it's almost someone who sits around and does nothing is like a bum, is like better than a narcissist in a way, because at least if that bum doesn't hurt people, at least you could say he's not making society worse, right? There's an argument for saying that laziness, sloth is bad too, but at least that person isn't actively destroying the world like a narcissist does. The narcissist, because of that grandiosity, it's impossible to save them. And then on top of that, in trying to save them, in trying to fix something that is unfixable, you waste your time, and that is basically the most precious resource on earth. your health and your time. It's things you sometimes you can't buy, right? Sometimes you can buy health and time, right? Sometimes the doctor says that no matter how much money you throw at it, you, you're not going to get better. Sometimes you can, if you have a bunch of money, you can not go to work, and that buys you time in a sense, right? But sometimes it just you get hit by a bus and you can't buy time, right? If you're dead. But it's better to save yourself than to try to save the narcissist. I know you love this person. I know you're trauma bonded to this person. But especially what I've noticed in myself is the more I've saved myself, the more I focus on myself, it's making me a better person. And it's if somehow the narcissist decides to get better, if they come to me someday and are like, I want to try to do better. Like I've tried so many times. It's just like trust me, I've been there. You can, I mean, if you go back to my old videos and you see my videos now, you can see that I'm just in a way better space mentally. But I was that person too. I was trying to save the narcissist more than I was trying to save myself. I was trying to get them to just do better when in reality I was the one that needed to do better. Yeah, I was doing better than the narcissist, but that's not saying much, right? That's like saying you have more money than someone that's homeless. Like God bless the homeless, but it's not a big step up. But you can help the narcissist by helping yourself, and that's the most productive thing you can do. Better yourself, become more mentally healthy, because it's better to understand someone than to love and help them. And that sounds kind of counterintuitive, but you can love and try to help someone as you try to help the narcissist probably, and it makes them worse, right? It makes them more entitled. It prolongs them having to grow up and do things for themselves. The narcissist needs to do it for themselves just like you need to do it for yourself. And the more you work on yourself, the more you better yourself. That's gonna honestly, the narcissist is probably gonna see that, and if they're in that period of their time where they might somehow want to get better, then you can help them, and it'll kind of inspire them. Because if you just keep doing bad and you're misunderstanding the narcissist, you're still in a bad place mentally, and you're still just using them to kind of regulate yourself, then you're just hurting them more, and you're hurting yourself. If you fix yourself, it'll become easier, and in doing that too, it'll help you escape and heal instead of trying to fix your problems by trying to fix their problems, which it, it doesn't work. Even if you could fix their problems, the narcissist is like a bottomless pit where you can maybe like plug up the hole for a little bit, but then it's a bottomless pit, so there's no satisfying the narcissist. And right now, honestly, no matter what the narcissist does for you, even if you think like I want the narcissist so bad or I want to get over them so bad, but even if you got those things, you probably wouldn't be happy because you still aren't sure of who you are. You are still in this mind headspace where you're just not even you're not sure about your reality. Because if you were seeing things for what they really are, if you were in a very mentally healthy mind space, you wouldn't even be wondering if it's possible to save a narcissist. Because once you truly see them, their disorder for what it is, you can kind of see that there's nothing you can really do to help someone that's that lost. It has something to click in their mind. And as you've seen from the self-aware narcissist on YouTube, even it's hard for them. It's such a um, effective, or such a powerful disorder that it's hard to cure. Just how when someone has anxiety, just knowing you have anxiety doesn't magically cure you, right? It makes you more aware, and it makes you capable of bettering yourself. But just knowing you have anxiety doesn't give you the magic power to will it away. Just how the narcissist being aware that they're a narcissist isn't going to give them the magic power to just suddenly stop have empathy and like relearn like decades of trauma and life experience. That's going to be a very long process, and if it's not at least several years, if not a whole lifetime of them trying to better themselves. And you know it in yourself. You are you. If you're in your 20s, 30s, even older, your personality is very set in stone. And imagine having a very strong personality, like, and a disorder where it's hard to budge, right? That's what makes the narcissist disordered, is that their personality doesn't move, or like conform to the day to day, right? Like a person who doesn't have a personality disorder can have interactions with people without abusing them, can have a stable job, can have empathy, can have do basic things like that, right? What makes the narcissist a narcissist is that their character, their personality is very rigid and they can't change. So in saying that, if you still think you can change them, well then, I guess I wish you the best, but you might have to learn it the hard way that the best thing you could do for the narcissist, if you really care about them, if you really love them, is to work on yourself and better yourself. So if they at all want to change, you will have at least the the capacity to help them if you want to do that.